FutureDad 5, Study is Physical. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. Robert Collier. When my girlfriend studied for professional exams, she wore the effort on her face and body for several months. It weighed most heavily on her shoulders, pulling them down towards the documents and books she strived to consume. I found it difficult to watch. On the one hand, given my instinctive duty as protector, I had a persistent urge to stop the whole thing. On the other hand, wisdom dictates that studying has to be unpleasant to be worthwhile. The more difficult the topic, the more hardship has to be endured. So I did not get in the way, and I had to watch her suffer. But why does the process of comprehension incur such suffering? What is the difference that makes the difference between reading for learning and reading a story? In fact, side note, in some cases there is no difference. Some fiction authors introduce a dozen new characters in the first chapter that you have to track before you even get to a plot. But that aside, why is the ingestion of factual content such hard work? There are different answers to that question depending on the level of analysis. Physiologically speaking, you're applying energy to a system to grow different and stronger connections. Whereas in a gym, it's your quadricep muscle fibers at the bottom of a squat. In this case, it's the synapses of the brain. More generally, with a mind or body, if ever you want to change nature, it takes energy. There are no shortcuts. Only the anatomical location of the effort may vary. The studying technique itself is also critical to the experience of hard work. Some techniques like repeat reading are too passive. They are as effective and tiring as punching fog. Others, like rote memorization, require painstaking incremental gains, like using brute force in chess, and just as detrimental for your expertise. The best study techniques harness your mind's ability to learn new information by accounting for the need of a pre-zone, and then subverting your natural proclivity to be distracted. It's what I will pretentiously term hyper-ingestive study. Hyper-ingestive study gets you to the two conditions which have to be true for any effective study: being focused and being active. The first condition, focus, is easier to achieve, at least in the short term. It's all in the setup. There are useful parallels between this and physical exercise in terms of the mind-body connection. The mind and body are a duopoly. It is no coincidence that they operate the same way when it comes to work. Just like in a workout, there's inertia at the start before you get into the zone, the pre-zone stage. It takes approximately 6 minutes and gets you in the right gear for effective study. But easier said than done. Most people give up before or during pre-zone and become engrossed in their phone, or they painfully drag out the pre-zone until it's the length of the study period with nothing to show for it. The best way to enact pre-zone is to remove all distractions, all activity, sights and sounds that take away the slightest attention. You shouldn't even be able to see your mobile phone. You need to reset your attention span. Then, let your mind rest on something completely bland like the bare wall. Stare at it. Eventually, boredom works in your favour and you want to look at the next study topic. When 6 minutes have passed, start on your topic. Your mind will be much less resistant to the new stimulus, which just happens to be study material. Now you're able to focus. Read FutureDad 24, you are paid for your focus, for further discussion on this. The second condition is being active. This is more difficult. This is what induced most of my girlfriend's study pain. Being active, a close cousin of being focused, comes after the pre-zone, at some stage after the 6 minute point. Reading is not enough. You have to be a problem solver, a detective. You have to grapple with all the facts in order to build deep insight. You must take the time to understand both the how and the why. You are participating in the action of learning with the same engagement that you memorize a karate pattern or solve an escape room puzzle. Now that you're focused and actively learning, your surrounding will recede into the distance and you enter a kind of isolation zone. Time spent in that zone is so effective, it's like you get some study time back. You may even start to enjoy it. But you must make it past the first 6 minutes, just like working out. It helps you establish the right mindset for you to achieve the zone. There's nothing special or magic about this technique. You may have already achieved it in the past, just not systematically. Read FutureDad 23, Habits Part 2, How to Create Good Habits for more tips. What does this mean for your study plan? Let's say the exam is 4 months away. That's 120 days. If you have 8 study topics, that's 15 days per topic. We can assume the number of hours you can achieve is 5 because you're not studying normally. You can't do hyper-ingestive study all day. There are no mammoth 11-hour sessions with this level of focus and activity. Lastly, do something physical each hour. Get out of your chair and look out the window or take a walk round the block for 10 to 15 minutes. Of the remaining 45 minutes of your hour, only 39 will be productive. You have to build this newly understood reality into your preparation. 39 minutes per hour for 5 hours for 15 days is 2,925 minutes per exam subject. You must make every minute count, especially the first 6 of every hour, by staring at a blank wall. No excuses. Future Dad.